So this year I went to Kumori-con, which is a mid-sized anime convention in Portland, Oregon. Now I go to Kumori-con and Sakura-con up here in Seattle fairly regularly, and I've been wanting to do a vlog on these trips for a while, but this time I had a bunch of friends coming with me, so I figured now is good a time as any for me to actually vlog this whole adventure. And if you stick around, you're gonna get to see this sick haul I got. I don't talk about it all that regularly on here, but I do stream over on Twitch, and on Twitch I'm part of a stream team called Full Deck. All the members of the team are spread out across the country, so it's pretty hard for us to be able to really do anything together as a group. But I worked a little bit of my magic, which is to say that I actually know how to set plans with people, and I convinced my fellow members, Corvo Ochi, otherwise known as Kore, Yumasuki, otherwise known as Yume, Natalie Groves, who we all call Nat, Mako Inari, or Mako, and Naomi, who doesn't need to shorten her name because that's just her name. Now, a few of these friends are camera shy or try to avoid showing as much of their image to the public as possible, so I'm gonna be respectful and avoid showing some of them. So if you see some censorship in here, that's why. But they all came from all over the country, except for Mako and Naomi, because they just live in this area. While I personally drove all the way down from Seattle. Though I grew up in Southern Washington, so Portland is super familiar to me, as it's the only city that really had anything worthwhile to do in it. Which, since I'm so familiar with the area, of course wanted to show everyone around to my favorite tourist spots. Before we can get to that though, I picked up Yume, Nat, and Kore from the airport, and we decided to go to IKEA Portland because Nat and Yume had never been to IKEA, and I used to work at this IKEA. This is actually where I got my first job. I actually didn't take any video for this because this was, again, my former workplace. I didn't feel the need to take a video of it, so I should have, but that's my explanation. But I did pick up this lovely blue whale plushie that I love a lot. Look at this thing. He's huge. Now everyone else got matching mini Blahaj sharks, and that was cool and all, but I love whales, so I got the whale. Can you blame me? Like, look at this guy. His mouth has a zipper. I don't know, it's just cool. I like him. Sue me. Afterwards went to our Airbnb, which is in the Hosford Abernathy neighborhood, which was just lovely. These are the kind of neighborhoods in Portland I used to dream of living in, and as I've gotten older, I realized it will stay a dream because these housing prices are insane. Great for a weekend though. For my friend's first day here, I decided to drive them all out to Crown Point, which is an incredible overlook of the Columbia River Gorge. Now, it was comically windy with strong wind gusts hitting almost non-stop, but hey, these views are amazing, and the Vista House here has some really beautiful architecture, and you know, you can go inside of it and see the views here from the protection of the glass. Then we head up the classic Multnomah Falls, a location that I would never be able to spell on my own. But I love visiting here. It was actually my first time back since like 2018, which was like a year after the Eagle Creek fire had destroyed a large part of the area. Now, while that devastation is very clear further down this scenic highway, at the falls at least, there's been a large recovery. With the sightseeing all done though, it was anime time. Heading back into the city, we then spent a few hours looking around the shops and the artist alley at Kumori-con. I never buy that much on the first day, it's more for browsing and getting a lay of the land. It's a 3-day convention, so you gotta pace yourself. We then took the streetcar to go get some dinner in the Pearl District, and the one thing I truly did miss about Portland is the mass transit. From the light rails, the streetcars, and the buses, Portland is such an easy city to get around. Seattle has grown here as well, but man, look at that light rail map, it's glorious. Now at this point, my friends all decided to abandon me because their weak hearts weren't ready for the real meat of an anime convention: the panels. Now, anime conventions have a reputation for their panels. Mainly that they can be a little cringe. And hey, in some cases, especially voice actor Q&A panels, that can be the case. But one of the things I've always loved about panels is the window they give you into the heart of the anime community. For instance, this evening I went to a panel about the death and new life of fan subbing, which was an interesting dive into how the community of fan subbers in the US got their start back in the bootleg VHS era. Then after that was an Anime So Bad It's Good panel, which was a wonderful experience being subjected to clips of some truly awful but fascinating anime. Before this panel, I had never heard of Chargeman Ken, and now I can't get this whack-ass animation out of my mind. Now sure, you could find lists of bad anime on TikTok or YouTube or through a listicle article on like BuzzFeed or something. But there's a different experience when you're sitting in a panel room, experiencing it with a whole group of people. There's something you can't really explain about that. It's community. The next day we were right back at the convention, and this was the time for some serious shopping. This is when I got a lot of my main purchases, like this Gundam kit that I plan to build on stream, along with this 1000 Sunny model kit. I built a Gundam on stream recently as a challenge, and now I'm a little addicted to the idea of building more Gundam and more model kits. It's actually a lot of fun. Now, before I went to Kumo, I actually did a marathon stream where I completed Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. We had a number of goals, but one of them was to buy a Hatsune Miku figure. Now, I'm not really a figure collector. I've got a couple that I picked up from Japan mostly, but it's not really something that I go and seek out. But this time, for the good of my community, I picked up this bunny girl Hatsune Miku. Then I also saw this Hatsune Miku plushie, and she's even got a little snowflake on her scarf here, and it just fit the brand so much, so I just had to get it. And now whenever chat misbehaves, I can just go ahead and punt this, which is worth every penny. I just love wandering around anime conventions, especially the Artist Alley, where I spent the vast majority of my budget. I keep various art pieces up all over my apartment, and I'm eager to add all of these to my walls. Especially love this Lord of the Rings print by the Gorgonist, and look at this cute Gojo tote bag I picked up for Neha. Like a real bunch of weebs, he then decided to go get ramen at Tomo Ramen over on Hawthorne, and they had some of the best gyoza I've had outside of Japan, and just some delicious ramen. Look at this goddamn cauldron they gave Yume, it's amazing. Then again, I headed back to the convention to hit up another panel on my own, one that I was just so morbidly curious to see, which was Attack on Titan, Fascism and Themes. Now, I was personally worried that people would be a bit weird about this one, but actually it was a really chill conversation about the controversial aspects of Attack on Titan's themes and how poorly it handles the topic of fascism. I made an off-script video that touched on this a little while ago, but that was before the manga ended, so that's pretty outdated and I wouldn't really recommend that video. But if you check out the channel Abandoned Minicats, they actually put out a video that perfectly tackles this topic. And it does something that I had wanted to do, which was actually explore Japanese politics and its reflection on the story. But since they made this video already and it's so thorough and well researched, I don't feel the need to make my video at all. Seriously, check this video out if this topic interests you at all, because it's one of the most fair takes on the series. Also, it's kind of crazy that Attack on Titan discourse is almost entirely focused on the Western political themes, which I can understand that because of how German the show's aesthetic is, and if you're making discussions in English, then you're probably more rooted in Western culture, so I get that that's more of what you think about, but Japanese politics are crazy, and a lot of people tend to overlook that when discussing a lot of anime. Watch the video, you'll see what I mean, but there's a lot of Japanese politics and a lot of different anime that you may not realize, but it's there, and it's really fascinating. It's something you should just like keep an eye on or learn a little bit about Japanese political history. It'll add a lot of depth to the stories that you're learning about. Truly, it really is worthwhile. Back on topic though, after all these fun times talking about anime fascism, I decided to truly descend into hell by catching the showing of AMV Hell 8.
Do the monkey with me! And here it goes, I'm just a dog and life is a nightmare.
Unironically, AMV Hells have always been one of my favorite parts of the anime community and the AMV community in particular. It's one of my introductions into the more zany side of anime, or, you know, a lot of the different aspects of the community. This is a brand new movie-length AMV Hell that won't be online until December of this year. Now, don't look at your calendars because I did put this video out in late November of 2024, so it's almost out already, but this was a chance to go see it in a room packed full of people. Then, again, as I said earlier, there's nothing better than experiencing laughs and joys with a bunch of other people in a room. It's why we have plays, it's why we have movies. Joining and doing something in a group, it makes a lot of things better. It is the essence of community. Okay, so it's the last day of the convention. You've gone and you've checked out the raves, you know, you watched AMV Hells until 1 a.m. before heading back to your Airbnb. You've done a lot this whole weekend, and what do you decide to do next? Well, of course, you wake up at 6:30 a.m. to catch the re-showing of the AMV contest that you missed initially because you took all of your friends to go see a goddamn beautiful waterfall. Can you tell that I like AMVs? AMV contest always slaps, and this was no exception. Top to bottom, every single genre has an AMV that I absolutely loved. Now, did I know that they had posted a whole video online of the entire AMV contest? No, of course I didn't. If I knew that, I probably would have slept in, but you gotta live and learn through these situations, and you know, I don't really regret it at all. It was a fun time just being able to go out there early in the morning and just watch a bunch of AMVs in a room that was pretty empty actually, because it was again the early morning. I went on one last spin around the market, got some free War of the Rohirrim posters, and got these Pokemon keychains from my now Pokemon-obsessed niece and nephew. I also got really tempted by this Laboon plush, but it was $55 and I just bought another whale plush earlier in this trip, and how many whale plushes can I have in this house? The answer may surprise you. You gotta set your limits, so I finished up shopping and waited around for my friends to come and take their final look around the shops. We then said goodbye to Kumori-con and the weirdo Christian preachers that were outside for some reason, and then headed into the city again. Oh hey, look at that, an anime store. Wow, you know, I wish I could go to a place that sold a bunch of anime merch, maybe in a giant convention hall and... Anyways... No, but for real, this is just some random anime store. What we were really here for was to check out Powell's City of Books. It is somehow the largest bookstore in the entire world, somehow in Portland, Oregon of all places, and I've loved coming here ever since I was a kid. I picked up some manga along with a graphic novel called Life Sucks that I remember seeing in a Barnes & Noble like 6 or 7 years ago. I could not remember its name at all, but it's about a convenience store clerk that becomes a vampire and their life sucks. Also picked up Dead Demons Destruction as well, and if you haven't seen my video, then please check that out. This is one of the anime of the year, and it inspired me to go and get the manga because I hear the manga is more detailed, and I just love this series so much. Please watch the anime. If you need convincing on that, you should watch my video on it, but I got this manga that I'm really excited to go check out. I also bought the light novel version of Haruhi Suzumiya, which I'm actually going to, for real, read the light novel for real this time. It doesn't seem like there's gonna be another season anytime soon, so might as well catch up on the story of Haruhi. And it wouldn't be a trip to Powell's without some Sizzle Pie, the pizza place across the street that sells some delicious pizza by the slice, and some amazing garlic knots. On the last day, I took Yume, Nat, and Corey up to Mount Tabor for one last look of the beautiful city of Portland before having to take Corey over to the airport to drop them off because they had an early flight out. But because we had so much time to spare, I decided to take Yume and Nat up to a little breakfast place called Country Cafe. Personally love the French toast here a lot. This is just so nostalgic for me. Then we went to check out the infamous Kalama School parking lot, which if you didn't know was the parking lot where Edward saves Bella from getting hit by a runaway van in the hit film Twilight. Now I've mentioned before that my hometown is Woodland, Washington, and Kalama is up to the north. Now, our town is right along the Columbia River, and if you go across the Columbia River from Woodland, you get to St. Helens. Now, not Mount St. Helens, the volcano that famously exploded the wrong way and caused the largest landslide in recorded human history on May 18th, 1980. By the way, May 18th, also my birthday, just so you know. But no, the town of St. Helens, not even really all that close to Mount St. Helens, but it is actually the town where they filmed the hit Disney Channel original movie Halloween Town. They even have Halloween Town themed events every year around Halloween. But it doesn't end there though, because across the river from Kalama, which would be north of St. Helens, which is again itself across the river from Woodland, was the site of the Trojan nuclear power plant. Now there was no major film that was filmed at this location, but it is the inspiration of the nuclear power plant in the show that changed my whole life, The Simpsons. We used to see the cooling tower every time we headed north out of town, and it would just blow my mind every single time that was just something that was just there, just across the river from us. It blew my mind even further because when I was a Cub Scout, we went to summer camp right at the base of the tower at a little park they had there. As a young Simpsons fanatic, I could not believe my mind. It is also the place where I first got stung by a bee, but we're gonna move past that for now. So I grew up in a very beautiful area, and I'm incredibly lucky for that. There was movies and the inspiration for generational TV shows all around me. There was an active volcano in Mount St. Helens that was just a few miles away. So what's my hometown's claim to fame? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's a grist mill. Specifically, the Cedar Creek Grist Mill, and while it may not be flashy, it is one of my favorite places in the whole world. A truly perfect and peaceful place, and a perfect drive to cap off a memorable trip to Portland. This grist mill has actually been restored and is still in operation. You can go visit it on Saturdays, and I would actually really recommend it if you're in that area because it's kind of crazy to see it all work. It's insane that these people have dedicated so much of their free time to restore this mill and keep it operational. It's truly beautiful, truly amazing. You just gotta respect people who do that kind of shit. Thank you for sticking around through this vlog. I kind of diverged at points there, but I hope you enjoyed watching this vlog as much as I enjoyed making it. So if you want to see actual videos of me talking about anime, or if you want to see some more vlogs from me, then be sure to subscribe to see more videos similar to this. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a great day, a great night, or whatever it is you're having, and stay rad.